Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone who are watching us across the globe. Welcome to Excellence, the 30 Minutes Talk Show. As always, safety first. So, wherever you're watching us from now, if there is any emergency, please carry yourself to a safe location and contact your local helpline. So yes, and that's done. And now I'm really very excited today, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker and our associate SM Farooq Zaidi, who will help us to know our customer better to develop our successful business. Welcome on the show, Farooq.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm quite excited to be here and hope to interact with all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again, Farooq. So, just a brief intro of Farooq. I know Farooq from many years back, but Farooq brings in his more than 25 years of expertise, global business expertise, I should say that and mention it here is, and his experience ranges from diverse sectors. It's like waste management, biorenewables, capital goods, and industrial projects. And he has worked with and helped clients in different geographies, I should say, panning right from the Asia to Europe and from Africa to Middle East and the UAE. And as you see the geographies, different geographies, we can understand that how aware and how well versed he is with the various cultural and local requirements in these parts of the world. And I think that's what aids him to guide his clients into successful ventures. So it is really great to have Farooq on board on SP and SS Limited, and obviously on today's talk show to share with us some practical advices in international business development. So welcome again on the show, Farooq.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rapnil.
That, yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. So, as all of us know, like the world has come closer in the last few decades. So, if we wouldn't have been imagining this situation sat when we were doing our college or during her childhood. But obviously, the last few decades, because obviously the credit goes to technology and the digital connectivity, and we all have been brought so close that we can be anywhere across the globe just at a mere of a fingertip. Now, this has expanded our horizons now to explore new places, either for pleasure or for business. And but like traveling to an unknown destination for a holiday is much easier. Like we can just plan our itinerary, we can book our tickets, and do some search on Google about the weather, the food, and a sort of bit of culture, what to wear, what not to wear, and all that. But it's not that easy when you're trying to set up or expand your own business in these unknown lands. So Farooq, can you please let us know like the basics or the self preparation? Now I've told it's not like a very good analogy. I would say that traveling on for pleasure, but like you do self prepare yourself for certain things. So what's the basics or what are the self preparation before venturing into these new countries, trying to expand or establish a new business?
All right, that's an interesting point. We're not talking any hard sales skills in this session. The idea is to touch upon what culminates into a sale. When you talk about soft skill, what I've learned over a period of time is the amount of desk work you do. The more the desk work you do, the easier your work will be when you go to a place which you may be going for the first time or second time or third time. If you're going to a new country or new continent, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, depending on your business and whichever business you are, you know your stakeholders of the business. So this work gives you a bird's eye view of who are those stakeholders in those countries, who are the big people, who are not so big people, who are the enabling factors, what are the regulatory requirement, which are the government, finer points or finer offices which can facilitate all these things. So entire stakeholder situation, if you do research on your desk work, you will be more than ready. When you go to a place, you will find, oh, this is not something completely new. I know a little bit about this place. I know whom are the people to talk about, to meet and try to meet and all those things. Uh, while at it, it's also good if you're going to a new place to understand a little bit about history of that place. For example, if you're going to any place in Africa or in Europe, it's not necessary. It is not directly related to your, selling and all those things. But when you start talking to anybody in any meeting, there's a little bit of, relationship building happens. And relationship building can only happen when you know about a little bit about the country, about the polity. You're not necessarily into politics of that country, but you know what's going on, some good points about that country, uh, which probably when you share with people in your inaugural talk, uh, they will very much appreciate, and they would greatly get impressed that yes, you know about the country a little bit at least. You're not just coming as a blank.
Yeah.
So A,
Right.
a little bit about the country, B, about your stakeholders or the potential stakeholders you're going to meet. And all this come through a lot of desk work. People neglect at great point of times, but it doesn't help. And you yourself see if you start practicing that my desk work is bringing me here. So desk work, knowing a little bit about your stakeholders, knowing about the place you're going, knowing about the geography you're going, will be greatly, greatly helpful. So in brief, desk work, I think, is one of the key factors to start with. Swapnil.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I completely relate with that, Farooq, because most of the time, like when we are trying to either expand or establish a new business, there's this lot of excitement which is happening. Okay, we are doing all the groundwork. We have hired people to do stuff, but in that excitement, certain aspects are missed. And as you have said, that we have to really focus and concentrate on the desk work, the preparatory work, and the studies which go into actually, because as we all of us say, that first impression is the last impression. So you have to be prepared for that. And as you have rightly or aptly said, that desk work is extremely important. Or rather, I would say, as the way you have told me, it is quite vital. And uh, when I hear you out, and I think that it's like, like you're going for an exam. So you're like learning and preparing, and now all you have all the knowledge, and now you're going to go and appear and write the paper, and then you're going to get assessed. So with all this know-how, so we approach our customer. Is that correct then?
That's perfectly all right. That's perfectly the key. The more you prepare,
Yeah.
the clear you are. The clear you are, the good communication happens. And the good communication happens is what you are aiming at. The moment you have clarity in communication,
Right.
good relationship, life becomes
Yeah.
that much easier.
Right. And is it, I think this is the maybe the key to start knowing your customer. Is that correct? And that's why we are trying to focus today, isn't it? Like
Yes.
knowing your customer.
KYC is a good term. It can be used everywhere. We do it in our daily day in life, and sometimes we get fed
Yeah,
up of this
I just
KYC
wanted
because
to.
of this bank guy is asking you 10 times on KYC. But in our parlance of business development, it is very important to know your
Yeah.
customer. There are customers whom are you talking to directly to sell your whatever services or plant or machinery or expertise, whatever it is, and there are people around them. So it is important how they work, how they behave. It's very difficult to do in one time, but obviously when you talk to them and meet them, if you have done your research, then you know this company is into, example, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H segments. You are talking only about segment A, but it also gives you an idea
Correct.
that there may be a requirement of your kind of things into segment H or segment F. May not be immediately, but when you talk to them and tell them that this is what you understand from your segments, then they may not have an immediate thing, but they will open up. Oh, because you are mentioning segment H, we also have expertise, so they will come to you. They will probably open up with you. So knowing your customer and the businesses, extremely important. Are they a family-oriented business? Are they a system-driven, a personality-driven? I say family-driven, a personality-driven.
Correct.
There are
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
kind of organization: personality-driven or
Yeah.
system-driven.
Yeah.
So are they personality-driven?
Yeah.
Then you know how to focus. You only have to focus maybe one or two key people who owns the business. When it's a system oriented, then obviously
Correct.
you have to focus the entire supply chain and from different segments. While you're talking to one particular department, there are other enabling departments and everything. So knowing your customer will be an extremely, extremely important thing, which emanates, by the way, from your desk work. You see,
That's correct. Yeah.
what I have learned over a period of time, that if you look at business development as a single transaction based scenario, more than fair chances are that there will be failures. because you always have to look for
Okay.
long. Once you look at long term, then all your thinking, whether knowing your customer, that's for
Yeah.
everything relates to that long term thing. And when you have that long term thing, your customer also appreciates that you are coming to him not for this particular transaction. For example, I gave you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S. So customer understand that, oh, this gentleman understands and he's coming with an overall solution, overall approach to me. And it's not just for, one sale. One sale is one sale. We are not into this business. This sale of services in engineering business, especially, is a development process. You develop this entire thing along with them. And when they see you coming up with a lot of solutions, with a lot of ideas about their other businesses, they really appreciate you, they get impressed, and they admire you, that you are coming to talk to them about a long-term relationship and not just a transactional based relationship. Transactional based relationship, my
Right.
little understanding and my experience suggests, doesn't go, because then you are one of those 5, 6, 7, 10 competitors who are there. And so all these soft skills differentiate you, wherein while your products which you are offering or services you are offering may be generic, may be specific, there could be 10 competitors, there'll be 20 competitors, but not everybody talks their language. Not everybody takes interest in your client's business as you
Right.
are doing. And that's where it differentiates. Then maybe 10 companies or 20 companies, it doesn't make any difference. Then they approach you. They will definitely talk to you before they finalize. And that's the key. Before they finalize any business, they talk to you. I think you have touched upon their, expertise, touched upon their understanding, touched upon their businesses, and you have made a mark for yourself into their thought process. You
Right.
get business or not, that maybe a result of 100 odd things, but they will certainly talk to you before they decide, and they'll say, okay, example, Rahul, we discussed about it. There are 10 guys. This is where you are. I know you, I understand you, appreciates you, but the price is so and so. So at least to reach to that level, it's
Yeah.
itself an achievement. And then obviously once you have this first sight of refusal, talking to you, being comfortable with you, that's what takes you long term. So desk work, KYC, and always long term relationship building thinking. These are the three key factors which will take you to some extent to some place. Beyond that, obviously, there are various other things which counts. But if you melt this ice, then there's no stopping. Swapnil.
Right. Yes, I completely, again, this is again not maybe a correct analogy, but I relate to it very much, Farooq. And what the message you're trying to give here is don't look for immediate gain. So that's what happens. Like I was trying to relate it. I go to buy a shoe in a shoe shop, and there are two salesperson there. Okay, one comes to me and asks me, what are you looking for?" I said sports shoes, and he says, "What's your size?" And he says, and he understands what my size is. He brings something to me and just holds it. Okay, he says that this is what we have. Whereas the other salesperson comes to me and then he talks to me, he starts talking to me. He does a bit of ice breaking. He comments on my physique or something, and he's saying what you're looking for. And then he said, okay, so if they're sport shoes, if are they running shoes or it's a workout shoes, that's the way. So he's trying to know me. He's trying to understand my requirements, because the first one thought like it's his job, that there's a customer standing in front. He has come to a shoe shop, so he wants to buy a shoe. I'm just going to tell him that, okay, this is the type of shoe and what's your size. Whereas the other one, he's trying to understand all of my requirements and then trying to give me the product, or rather actually making a sale or making a customer, as you have said. And it's again, like, so it's like putting yourself, now it's from the example of the shoe, basically shoe shop, that is putting yourself in the customer's shoes. As you have aptly said, that you want to know like ABCDEFGH are all of their different verticals which they are working. Maybe they have approached you for vertical H, but if you have done your desk work, you know that they are doing A to G, and A to H, and now you can, when you're talking about G to them or H to them, you can definitely touch the points on A and B which your company is offering them. And this is, okay, this guy has done some research on me and he knows what I'm doing, and he's trying to put forth his service which his company is able to offer. So what I get it like, is it like putting yourself in your customer's shoes And in sort of engineering terminology, the first thing which comes into my mind is like you're doing a due diligence on your customer, I say.
Absolutely.
And the next step which you said is that you actually reconfirm the understanding, like, okay, this is what you're trying to talk to them, and understanding them and reconfirming that, okay, my understanding is you need sports shoes for running. And then he says, yes, I do need sports shoes for running. And then you offer him the services. So that's, I think, actually very, very important, which most of the time we fall prey to having to make a quick sale, and like a sale which you want to just reach for this quarter or for this year. But as you're telling us, is that you have to look at the long-term relationship. Maybe you're not doing the sale at that moment, but you're actually registering yourself in the customer's eyes. Maybe next is going to be your sale.
I'm itching to chip in because you gave an example about shoe. Now you buy the shoe from a sports shop. Just think about it. And A to H. Now a sports shop will have accessories. A sports shop will have a lot of accessories, the treadmills, the clothes, different games and everything. Now that, as you said, two salesmen. The first salesman is intent to sell. Thank you very much. The second salesperson is intent to engage and understand with you and make you feel comfortable of telling you everything. He knows that you're not going to buy everything. You're here to buy only shoe. But he's telling you, Swapnil, we also have treadmills. We have some latest, gadgets and all those things. So you may or may not buy, but that guy will register in your mind. And trust me, it's all of us. We feel day in and day out because you go, like, for example, Sangeeta is going to buy grocery in any supermarket store. Not every storekeeper, not every store person comes along with you as somebody who's engaging with you. Maybe one or two. And you will always remember them.
Yes.
That's the key. So I was itching to stop in because then you intend to buy next time. Whenever you're going to buy something, for example, treadmill, you will say, okay, instead of buying to X shop, let me go and talk to this guy because he was telling me something like that. So that's important thing. The another feature would be, as you mentioned, reconfirmation. It's very important to understand what they have defined in terms of their requirement, what you have developed in terms of your proposition. Are these two matching? And many a times you will find in different places where you don't have English as a very convenient language, there's no harm in talking a 1, 2, or 3 times confirmation. Boss, am I talking BS10 table D? Is it correct? Are you talking about BS10 table D for the flanges? Are you talking, I'm just an example.
Correct.
Or you're talking about something else. I remember we went to Turkey in 2005 from my previous company, Praj. And at that point of time, we were not having too much of idea, but just to give an example, how it develops. They say, what's the requirement standards? They said, okay, European standards, everything is fine. Then they say something unique I came to know. Turkey is in customs union with the EU, all right? Custom unions means that whatever the standards are followed in European Union has to be followed in Turkey also, which means that if I sitting in India supplying anything into Turkey, it has to have a CE, they call it J, C they pronounce as J, JE mark, C marking or certification. We didn't know about it. So that would mean that you hire a third party consulting like BVQ or SGS or somebody who will actually do the audit of your designs and everything and give you a certification that yes, you are producing something CE, and with that certification it can enter, because if you don't do it, your material will get stuck in customs and you are dead and everybody is dead. So we came to know that they need a CE marking during our discussions. We came to know that they will not go with ASME, they will go with PET. We came to know that they will not go with anything else, maybe DIN standards, because that's what they get as spares or other things in the market. So confirmation, reconfirmation, and no harm, a third time reconfirmation as to what you are defined, what I'm proposing, are they matching? Is there anything I'm missing? For example, if you go to Russia, they have GHOST standards. So while you say, okay, it's ASME design thing, PET design thing, that's fine. Understood, you have designed the great work. But my requirement is that I need to have a GHOST certificate. So I need to know that there has to be a GHOST certification. Whether we design a SME or PED, that's fine, top of the world. But that top of the world is not good enough for that to enter into that country. So that's gold standard. So
Correct.
reconfirmation, there's no harm, nobody minds. One is basically because you are new. One is, and second thing is, in Turkey, people don't use English too much. They use Turkish. So you find very few people. So you need to understand that it's not only the language, we are talking the same thing and we are going to deliver. So their expectation and your deliverance matches, because if it doesn't, the cost of non-matching these things can be pretty high, because remember, you are not working in your own environment, you are working in an environment which is global, and a small thing is mismatched can cost you a lot of, either in service, whether you're providing service or equipment or whatever, especially service equipment, because equipment takes a whole lot of time to redo everything. Service also takes time. The service you can manage. So having an affirmation and acceptance of their expectation and your proposition vis-a-vis requirement local is one of the very key factor. The other point in the BD is obviously is that when you are going to sell something, especially a system or equipment or projects, you will need a lot of local resources. So is the inherent duty and the nature and the requirement or responsibility, whatever you can call it, of the BD guy, because you are the torchbearer. For example, if you are providing an equipment which needs to be installed in a particular fashion and a particular requirement, you are the first person. You're going to talk to a couple of local guys who are the installer, erectors. What are their capabilities? Obviously, there's a project guy, but project guys comes maybe 3 months or 6 months after you have gone. So you create those resources. So your responsibility extends into it while you are focusing on selling, but being a customer's contact. You will be responsible if tomorrow something happens. Then customer as well as the company, both will say, why didn't you look into it? Because you are the right person to start with. Project guys will come later, but you are the first person to give first-hand information. This is how it is done. These are the people. I've spoken to them. This is the brainchild is, and that's how you proceed. So the role and responsibilities expands a little bit beyond your direct sales and everything. And that's where, as you grow, as I call you, you become more mature. Gray hair, of course, a gray hair, but you become more mature. Age is only a number, but being mature to understand, to deliver. At the end of the day, remember, you as BD person are majorly responsible for the deliverance of what you have promised. Companies, promise means company promise, but company promise means what? You have promised. So you got to be extremely careful as to what the requirement expectation is. You have done your homework. You have handed it over properly to project. Project guys can always say, oh, you committed this. You didn't look into it. But then that's not enough, because that long-term thing requires you standing by with your customer. And that's where this entire cycle works. Yes, Swapnil.
Yeah, thanks, Farooq. Yeah, I can understand that when you're saying that, because you are faced to that particular customer. So even though you are representing your company, but the dealings and everything is happening with you. And another important aspect which you covered here is like, because when you're talking about the language, and I was about to touch base the local cultural issues and the local language and the local content and the local laws. So you already covered the local laws and local standards in your earlier answer. And in here, you obviously covered the local language issues. And I think one more thing is like when we are doing this business development activities is to, as you said, that local resources you mentioned, I think, or local companies which are going to be one of the stakeholders within that. That is also equally important to touch base when you're talking with your customer in your first pitch, I would say, which will give him confidence, I guess, that, okay, this person knows what are my requirements. So he's not just come here to sell something and just go away, but he knows that what are my requirements towards the overall sale and what I'm going to buy, either services or equipment from him. So is there anything else you want to add, Farooq, to this, like regarding the local cultural impact success of getting the order
Yeah,
or the
absolutely.
conversion.
You see, these are not the direct sales scenarios which you
Right.
think that if you do this, it will help in your sales. But remember, it's important to create a relationship with your prospective client to the extent where they make sure that they're talking to you. Whether they give an order to you or not, that's the second part of it, but they are talking to you on each and every of the requirement. Okay, Swapnil or Naveen or Rahul, can you do this for me? You may not be able to do that. And also, on a very lighter note, you need to be, breaking bread with them sometimes. You may not
Sure.
wine, you don't drink alcohol, that's fine, but you must be breaking bread with them, sometimes, because those are the lighter moments when you get to know them. It's very
Correct.
important, very, very, very important. The more number of times you break bread with them, the fair chances are that they open up a little bit. We are all humans at the end of the day, and you will find invariably they're talking about their family, you're talking about their family, 100 odd things, and they're opening up. So when you open up, that's the time when you create strong relationships. Another thing is, remember, everybody has a mobile phone, all of us. We all are having smartphones. I remember in 1999, I saw a caricature in Financial Times. Intel inside, there's a symbol, Intel chips,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So Intel inside and outside was an idiot outside. So we are not idiots. So while it's a caricature, we are not idiots. So this smartphone, each one of us has, for example, 4,000 uh, contacts or 3,000 contacts or 1,000 contacts. Whatever. It's not important how many number of contacts you have in your phone. It's important as to what you do with them. If
Correct. Oh, that's very good.
if you are looking at your 3,000 contacts and after 10 years you need somebody, oh, I met this guy 10 years ago, it's in my phone. You call him and you ask him for some work. Just imagine yourself that nobody has spoken to you for 10 years and then suddenly he calls you and tells you, Swapnil, can you do this for me? I need your help. Vis-a-vis, I'm not telling you theoretically, I do it, and that's why I'm telling you. If each of your 3,000 contacts, professional contacts, they hear from you at least once in a year, whether it is, and if you know them, if you can remember, if either the religious function or Happy New Year and everything, 10 years, if they're hearing from you, after 10 years, you call them, it says, Swapnil, buddy, I have this issue, can you help me?
Correct. Yes.
Swapnil will fall head over heels to do whatever he can. Trust me on that. This
100%.
is practical.
Yes.
So it's not about, and you don't expect that you are sending this Happy New Year just because it's a smartphone and this thing. No, you are connecting with everybody once in a year. So all my X thousand contacts, except my personal contacts, they hear from me at least once or twice a year, depending on what is their major festival and depending on what. So it's not something unique. We all need to practice it. This will differentiate you because all your people will ensure, oh, Rahul is not just calling me after 5 years or 3 years just to get me a favor, just to ask me if I can help. Because then you will be calling not for requesting for that. Then you will a little bit of, solid this thing, buddy. Can you do it for me? Just do it. I need this to do, and they will do it.
Sure.
It may be business, may not be business, but that relationship is very difficult to achieve. Very difficult to achieve. The second aspect, and my practical thing, which I can tell you is, we are not big or small by the number of emails we received every day. We are big, small, professional, non-professional by the action we take on them. So if you're receiving 1,000 emails every day, you may be managing director, you may be director, you may be peon, I don't care. What's important is what you do with those 1,000 mails. Have you made it 1,000 mails because you just have created a system that 999 mails come to you just because you are there as a copy, which means you're only seeing one mail a day? But my point is, for your internal customer, is important that all these 1,000 mails, I'm just doing exaggeration, but I have followed it up. before I sleep, my mailbox has to be 0, which means I have seen them. I may not have responded to them. I have prioritized my mind, but each one, irrespective of their position, whether it's a local small person or a big person, doesn't make any difference to me. My response must go, because if anybody is writing you an email, he or she is expecting that you will respond. So it's not important whether you get 1,000 mails or 10,000 mails. I don't care. You are big or small, professional, unprofessional, is what you do with them. Majority of the time you see around yourself, people differentiate that only 5-10 people who they think are so-called higher ups, they will respond, and rest all 990 and 995, they will leave. Fair enough, you can. In a professional world, you never know who's sitting where, when, what. But these things itches in people's memory. Your contact continuous, your responsiveness to them when they were not so strong will always stand you out. Will always stand you out. And this is not PR. Remember, never go after PR. I've never gone after PR. Human relations are always contemporary. That's what I was doing just before it. This, whatever I did before this call.
Perfect.
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Correct.
That's done and dusted. So very soft things.
I
think I've
thank you very much, Farooq. I think that is that's okay, Farooq. But thank you. Like it was very important. Like those aspects of having the contacts and actually maintaining the contacts, or maintaining your business relationship or your professional relationship is extremely important for you. After knowing your customer and having the first contact for a repeat customer or a repeat business. So I think it's really awesome, Farooq, like that you have taken us through this business development journey. Like right from the preparation, like of the soft skills, the desk work, the KYC, the local content, and now the important aspect of maintaining the relationship or developing the relationship, so that you are in touch with your customers. And all of these are really very vital for a successful venture. So thank you very much again. But before closing, I know we have run a bit of time, but I'm still happy to take questions if we have any from our participants. So we'll give them a moment. If you have a questions, you can unmute your mic and then ask. And I'll give a moment for you guys to.
I thought I'll run away from without having to shield the questions, but now that you caught me on questions, comments, anything which you think will be greatly welcome. It's not about questions only. You have your own experience. Maybe a couple of you can share. I'm very happy to hear, because it's always good to hear. Hearing is a fine game, not everybody's game.
Thank you, Farooq. Thanks. Yeah, and just so that everyone knows, Farooq, that I just wanted to let everyone know that yes, Farooq is one of our associates under SPN SS Limited, and we would be offering business development, like international business development consulting services. So if you have any inquiries, any questions in any part of the world which we have mentioned earlier, you can reach us on excellence@spnsslimited.co.uk, and we'll attend your inquiries and answer your questions and prepare your proposals and send them back to you. So I would like to close today's session by just saying that we all want to grow, right? And that's what is human tendency, not by age, as you're saying, graying and age is a number, but like maturity and success is what we all need. But the minute we are satisfied with where we are, then we aren't there yet. So you have to look for that opportunity. And yes, the will, I mean to say, and the speed is useful if you're running. It's only useful if you're running in the right direction. And I think in this particular instance, I think it's in the direction of your customer. So thank you and have a good day. Thank you everyone for being on the show, and thank you for Farooq for joining us and being on the show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone. Thank you. All the best. Good luck.
Thank you.